All right, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Kevin Bachelder. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, Patricia is going to help us out with some important information.
We want to acknowledge the land that we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga of the Credit. We are grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you very much. All right, Earpers, how we doing? Excellent, but I know we can do better. How we doing, Earpers? Much better. All right, we're going to have a fun one for you today. Please welcome to the stage Natalie Krill and Michael Eklund.
Side you want us on?
Up to you, wherever you'd like to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Such a gentleman all of a sudden.
I know. How you guys doing? Whoa, it's bright.
So bright.
All right, I figure it might as well be worthwhile for us to start kind of at the beginning. Maybe you two can talk a little bit about how you kind of came to the show with the audition process.
Yeah, Natalie, how did you get the role of Willa? I'd like to know.
I actually auditioned originally for do you remember the twins? Bobo's twins that mutilate this man. So I really, at that time, I really loved Orphan Black. So I did this, I was like, I'm gonna do both characters. So I did this, it was a really good audition. I have to say I slayed it. So I made 2 different characters, one for each twin, and I recorded both of them and then sent in both characters.
Oh, really?
So I think then from that, I didn't get that, obviously. But then
So you filmed both twins separately,
Yeah.
2 different characters.
Yeah.
Didn't book it, and they brought you in for Willa.
They brought me in, yeah. Well, it was Eve.
Eve.
They were very, what's the word? Careful. There was no mention of it being the Earp sister. It was just, this was Eve. And they had written a specific script to audition with that didn't really relate to the show. It was kind of just the attitude of her. Remember, she was robbing a bank. The audition material was robbing a bank. So, yeah, and then I found out that I got the role, I think it was Christmas Eve, or the 23rd of December.
And did you know when you booked Eve when did you find out it was going to be an Earp sister?
So my agent was like, so you booked Eve, but apparently it's Eve/Willa. And I was like, oh, okay, who's Willa? And I actually didn't know until I got the script. And then I was reading and I'm like, is she, what is happening? Who is this person? Yeah, and the whole story just, I didn't know anything about the character until I got the next script. And then I was like, oh, she does what?
So you thought she was in one script and then turned out to be the whole season, right?
Yeah. I didn't know what was happening, and then I just stayed. I just ended up being in Calgary for 2 months.
Bada boom.
Yeah, what about you? Michael, tell us about your audition.
Oh, I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I got a call. Where was I? I was in Europe somewhere.
How extravagant.
I'm trying to think back if it was worth telling why I was there, but it's not. She's not around anymore.
We don't need to know about your love life, Michael.
It never ends well. So I was in Europe, and at 4 in the morning, my phone rang, and it was a producer and Emily on the phone. And it was like 4 in the morning over there, and they were like, "Hey, we're here to talk about Winona Earp, this new TV show that we're doing." And I was like, "Okay, it's 4 in the morning." And they're like, "Do you have some time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And they're like, "Okay, so they basically gave me 2 choices. They asked me if I wanted to play Bobo or if I wanted to play Wyatt Earp. And they thought I would pick Wyatt Earp because he wasn't a bad guy, and I play a lot of bad guys. And so they said, maybe you would like to play Wyatt Earp, and it's different than what you've played before. And I said, how many episodes is Wyatt Earp in? And they said 2 or 3. And I said, how many episodes is Bobo in? And they're like, 9. And I'm like, Bobo. I think Bobo.
Good choice.
Yeah. So I picked Bobo, and that was it. And so I was finishing a movie on a Wednesday and then started Earp the following Thursday, like the next day. And I flew to Calgary and had no idea what the show was, because I came in on episode 2 of the first season. And so we didn't have the look of the guy down yet, so we decided to give him that mohawk, and then they bleached the side of my beard. And what was that? Sexy, yeah. It burns. And then my first scene was with Tim, when I step on his head. In that first scene, I never met him before. I never met anybody on the show. I didn't know what the show was. And every scene, every episode, I would slowly figure out who this Bobo guy was. Because if you go back in season 1, you see me and Dominique meet for the first time in the interrogation room. We have no idea what our relationship was going to be. And then, as you know, what it turned into. So we were all trying to figure it out at the same time. And I never knew I never knew our story was going to go the way it did. Yeah.
Yes, a lot was revealed.
I knew I was going to hide you away in a treehouse until you turned 18.
Well, it's interesting, Natalie, talk a little bit about, like you said, if you didn't know ahead of time where Willa was going character-wise, it was literally a script to script. I mean, did you, like, talk to Michael aside or something, knowing you two are going to have a relationship that you needed to work on some things, or just?
No, like, I don't know when that started to come out. Was it like episode 11 or something? Like maybe my 3rd episode? Yeah.
Well, you guys might be able to remind us. I think it was when they started showing our relationship? What wasn't it the me poisoning the champagne?
Yeah.
And then I leave the party and we have that really cool shot where we meet on the street.
Yeah.
And we give each other
Maybe
you
that
gave me a
was-
swan.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that's the end of 10 or in a
12.
12? Really? Oh, okay. The last episode?
No, it was 13 in season 1.
Oh, so it was 12. Okay.
And then you got attacked by the snake.
It was a
Serpent?
kraken,
Oh, a kraken.
a sea monster from
So they
hell.
squeezed our whole relationship into 2 episodes?
Not even.
2.5. Wow.
Yeah.
We became friends ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, then we discovered we have a lot of similarities.
It's true, like aliens
Aliens.
and science.
Yeah. One time I told Michael I had this dream about
Here
having
we
a
go.
child. I was like, I had this dream
Pull out the
that I
popcorn,
met my
people.
child. And he's like, you know what that means? That means aliens abducted your child. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah, you were abducted by aliens, impregnated, and they have your baby.
It's true. It's true. I still believe that. And now you have a child.
Now I have a child, yeah. Yeah.
Now, when you're finding out, Natalie, who your character is, and you're coming into a show where you're going to totally be messing with the dynamic that's been going on now 9, 10 episodes, do you have to approach that differently in any way as an actor to, so to speak, jump in and have all of this impact in such a short time?
It is a tricky thing, like coming onto a show that already has its kind of rhythm and flow. Like I always think the hardest thing is like being a day player, coming in and having to perform on the spot, and you're like only there for a few days. I was lucky that I, was kind of there a lot when I came, but I think the one thing that worked to my benefit was just the way the storyline was. Like I didn't know who I was. I'm in a cult. So the way that it all really just supported the journey as the actor too, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who I was, so it was easy to play.
Now, Michael, I'm curious, you thought you were going to have 9 episodes for Bobo.
I think they said that. It was 8 or 9 episodes,
8 or 9?
I think. Yeah.
And then we, quote unquote, see him killed off at the end of season 1, but that's not the end for Bobo. So, how did you?
Yeah. What?
I was going to say, how did you find out he's coming back?
Oh, I thought he was done. Because the whole Peacemaker thing, right? And then, so I thought, no, Bobo's done. But then they brought him back. Well, I don't know if this story's true, though, so I can't tell it. Because I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's... Emily would have to be here. The theory is, I heard... Is this going to end up on Twitter, this whole interview? I heard that Bobo was never going to be in season 2. He was done. He was dead. Like dead, not coming back, done. And then I heard a certain cast member got pregnant. And they had to change the storylines around a little bit. And they had to bring Bobo back. I heard they had a whole season planned without Bobo, and then, that changed things a bit. So then they had to go back and rewrite some of the storylines, and then they brought Bobo back. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. But if it is true, then thank you. But, and then season 3, yeah, that was the end of Bobo. And he was supposed to come back after 3. We had a whole story planned, but then, he was going to come back in maybe season 5, but there was no season 5.
Not yet.
Not yet. But, yeah, so it's on Earp, it's always a surprise for everyone. I think that's what we're all lucky when we read the next script and we're in it. Or if the new season happens and we're in it. All the characters feel that way. We never know what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what's so fun about working on this show.
Well, speaking of not knowing what's going to happen, knowing the show did an alternate universe episode and being science fiction and all, have either of you imagined the what if? What if you actually did get Peacemaker that day and you two were able to cross the line? Where would Bobo and Willa be today?
Did you say that was is that the question, or is that an actual episode?
Yeah, like if I did not shoot that episode.
Well, I don't know, maybe they wrote it.
Oh, maybe. No.
So the question is, what would it be like?
What do you think it would be? Yeah, how do you see Willa and Bobo today if they made it out?
I think we have very different opinions on our relationship. Bobo was in love with Willa. He loved her.
Right.
You can speak now. Yeah, I got used. Bobo got used.
I love how you feel like you're the victim in this situation.
Because he is.
I mean, maybe
You'd be dead. Okay, the Revenants were coming for you, and I protect Bobo. I always say,
how many times do I have to say thank you? Like I was like 11, Like, thank you. Okay, I appreciate it.
Fine. Where would we be if we crossed the line?
I mean, maybe they rekindled. I do think Willa did love Bobo, but I think she just had other motives.
Nope.
Okay?
Nope. You would have met somebody more
to play
rich
the
and famous
field.
than Bobo, and you would have kicked him to the curb. You're an opportunist.
I mean, no, I think
Willa's
she
an
just
opportunist.
wanted to experience a little more in her life. Is there anything wrong with that?
You lived in a triangle your whole life.
I lived in a treehouse, dude. One story. If you can even call it that.
It's a nice treehouse.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I think it's fun to just imagine, like, maybe Bobo and Willa, maybe they rekindle their love. Like,
They would have gotten jobs.
maybe they're, like, flipping houses.
Yeah.
You know? You should see what they've done with that treehouse.
Flipping tree houses.
I mean, part of that too, though, one of the audience questions sent in is what do you think Bobo and Willa would have done on a date?
Make sushi.
Make sushi? Is that what you said? Make sushi. A date inside the triangle or outside?
Go for both.
Oh boy, there's not much to do in purgatory. Bobo's not really welcome to the local movie theater.
Maybe Bobo, like, lets Willa shoot Revenants for fun.
There you go. Target practice. Well, they're my guys.
But you love me.
I do. But we can't let them know that. Oh, what would we do on a date? Netflix and chill, probably.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, both of you, Natalie, for you, I believe it was 4 episodes you were in, and Michael, it was 19 out of the 49.
Was it?
If IMDb is.
Yeah, I didn't even
believed.
break half.
No, but the point I was bringing up is that even with that number of episodes, both of you as performers and your characters had major impacts in the Earp universe. I mean, what's it been like kind of seeing that after the fact play out with the fandom and things like that?
Oh, I've loved it. I was totally surprised by how the fans championed Bobo. You know who got Bobo the most was you guys. I would read online things I was putting into the character that nobody was getting, but you guys were writing about. You know, you guys were sticking up for Bobo. He's not that bad of a guy. You know, he's just complicated. He's misunderstood. He actually loves yes, all of it. I don't think Bobo was the bad guy of the show. I think he was like a good guy. He just had alternative ways of dealing with things. But I loved the response that people have had with Bobo because they got it. They got what we were trying to do with him, I think. You never understood. But that's okay. But you only did 4. I thought, your performance in the show is so strong that I thought you did like the whole first season.
It feels like I was in more than 4 too. I think just because Willa has such an arc that it's like, even for me, it was epic to play because I was like, this is so cool. Like, just every part of it, being from Eve to like just total bitch mode. Like, it was awesome. And no, I never expected any of this or like, you know, because like I shot Nicole. I did a lot of stuff that was pretty shitty.
You did what?
I shot Nicole. They really, like, they're mad at me still. I can see it. I can see it. And I get it. I mean, she's, what? Oh, right.
You rocked in the bar at the wrong time?
Yeah.
What did you walk in on? I never watched the show.
Some kissy. They were kissing.
Oh,
Yeah,
they kiss on the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they a thing?
It was getting hot and heavy.
That's where way hot
Hot.
comes from.
Yeah. See?
I just figured it out.
Not just a
I should
pretty
watch
face.
the show. I've seen it.
No, but I've been grateful for those of you that do appreciate Willa.
She's an Earp sister.
She's the true Earp heir.
That's right.
Exactly.
There you go.
No offense to Mel.
They couldn't make this show without you.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Now, coming in to any show, this is more of a general actor question. Did you create any kind of a mental backstory for your character until you started to see some of these real things?
You couldn't. You couldn't make a mental backstory because we didn't know where the characters were going, especially for us. You know, if you're like maybe Dominique or like even Kat, she never knew. She never knew that. What's her name?
Well,
on the
her
show?
character blossomed too. Like
She was never supposed to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I think she was a smaller
Yeah,
a
just
character, and
initially.
then it
Detective
just grew.
Haas. That was her
yeah.
name. What's her first name?
Nicole.
Nicole. Never seen the show. She
How
never.
dare
She
you.
never knew that character was gonna, explode.
No.
I swear she was supposed to be in a few episodes in the first season, and that was it. Right? Until you guys took over.
Yeah. 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 So
But no, we couldn't create backstories because we had no idea.
I think like once I got to the last episode and had an understanding, then I could really kind of go into the depth of what her backstory was to kind of draw on some of that. But it wasn't until you kind of know everything. Until that point, you're just kind of making it up.
Totally. And with Bobo, I never, we actually went into his backstory when they go into the past and he was Robert Svane. I had no idea he was friends with Doc.
Yeah.
And he was this timid, weak, cowboy character. I had no idea. So him going from there to Mohawk, fur coat wearing Bobo, I have no idea with the gap that happened between, he became that guy to this guy.
A lot of choices, poor choices.
Good choices. Great choices.
What was it like, though, getting that script when you saw that backstory?
Oh, I loved it. Any script that had name Bobo in it, I loved
this
it. But to them to actually go into how he became or who he was just gave him a whole another layer that I had no idea. Which I thought made it even more powerful for me because the relationship with me and Doc, it made sense now. Why we hated each other so much. Or the whole reason why Bumbo called Waverly his angel, all that stuff. It was brilliant. And me and Tim worked really hard to slip inside stuff into the script, but it paid off in that going back in time episode. I loved it. I loved showing that side of Bobo. I like cool Bobo better. But
Now, you mentioned, Michael, trying to slip some things in
oh yeah.
to the script and such. Did
Me
you-
and Tim wanted to become the new Way Hot. We saw what was going on here with their little empire they were building.
So you were trying to slip what?
Oh, they know. They know. You guys know. We've talked about this before. There's videos on Twitter of
There's videos?
There's me and Tim are kissing in scenes. Never made it in. Never made it in. I licked Tim's face in a scene. I kissed him on the lips in a scene.
Oh.
And this was all worked out with Tim. We're like, we need to slip this in. And we'll become the new guy version of Way Up.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Right? I don't believe a
There's
word
two
he
sides
says.
of Bobo. Bobo goes both ways. Okay. But of course he loves Doc. You could tell from the looking back. It's there. Go back and watch the show and look for that. It's in there. Why do you think Doc comes to the well so much? Okay? He needs to visit his Bobo, Anyway. That's right.
Holly Ray.
Tomorrow when we do a panel with Tim will be here tomorrow. Ask him.
Now, are there any folks here in the audience who are at EarperCon UK in 2019?
Geez, was I there?
Yep, you both were. Yeah, a couple of folks. I bring this up only because I was there moderating some panels along with Bonnie, and we did a charades event.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen the video go online for it, but the two of you were just fantastic. I just wanted to
What
mention.
did we do?
Actors.
Yes.
We played charades, you and me?
It was a few of us, wasn't, I think Chantel?
Yeah, and Greg was there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were doing to support charity, but I still laugh thinking about how easily,
We were
give you a
reading
word and you could figure out a way to try to make it come to life.
I loved charades.
Yeah, you were great at it.
Charades is fun.
Now,
Why, you want to play?
Not right now.
between doing something like that and just maybe traditional Q&As like this, what's it like when you tell any of your friends, whether in the industry or otherwise, what it's like to come to a convention like this?
Go ahead. You go.
I have a few friends who have done conventions, but they don't have conventions like this where they have conventions dedicated to their show. They go to, the Dragon Cons where it's multiple different TV shows and stuff. But this is a special because you guys give us conventions specifically to Earp. And so to answer your question, my friends don't understand it. My agent didn't even want me to do season 2 or season 3 of Earp. She was like, you did season 1, they explored your thing. I know you love working with the people, but, we should think about doing other things. I'm like, no, I'm going back to Earp. If they call, I'm going back. Yeah, but, there's other opportunities. I'm like, I don't care. Because I knew there was something going on with this show, with this, the convention stuff and all you guys that was different than an actor normally gets to experience in their career. And and I've said this before, and it's nothing new, but it is very rare, for an actor there's other shows that have this, but it's rare for an actor to get to experience that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I've always told Emily, if she calls, I'm there, for this, It's special, it's something different. Mm-hmm. And you want to be a part of it. So my friends don't get it because they've never experienced it. They just think, you played this Mohawk guy. I guess it's turned into something, huh? Like, people like you. I'm like, yeah, well, I guess so.
I have a couple friends on Shadowhunters, and they have, conventions, too. And I know, as an actor, if you get on a show where there's some kind of fan following like this, you're just, you're blessed. Because it's such a special experience you don't often get to meet fans, so to meet you guys and hear your stories, and it's a pretty special experience that only a few actors get to experience.
But you guys are you guys take it to the next, you guys
Yeah,
put
you guys take it to the
billboards
next
in
level.
New York. Billboards in New
The
York.
next level.
Okay? None of my friends have ever had a show do that, where the fans actually
Yeah.
put billboards up in New York to get the show to come back.
Yeah. Oh,
You did
right,
Hollywood, too?
Yeah.
I just Oh, cool. Who was there in New York when I was there? We got 3 or 4. I just remember I was there again. Don't ask why. Not with her anymore. Another one. But I remember getting the text from Tim going, Mikey, are you in New York right now? And I'm like, actually, I am. And he's like, okay. So I put on Twitter that you and me are going to be on this corner and this corner at 3 p.m. I'm like, you did what? And he's like, yeah, can you be there? I'm like, yeah. And that's where you guys were. And it was hundreds of people. And there were the billboards. Who does that? You guys do.
It's crazy.
And they told me after, there were people stopping who didn't even know who me and Tim were, wanting autographs. And they're like, we have no idea who you guys are or what show you're on, but you're on the billboard up there. So that's never happened, and you guys actually did bring this show back from the dead. Mm-hmm. Do it again.
Working on it.
Working on it.
I know, my mom is like, how can it be so popular and they're not making more? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's up to the fans.
TV, politics.
Yeah, exactly. Network politics.
Now, as a performer, are there any other fellow actors or musicians or anybody that kind of you look up to for inspiration?
Oh, God, yeah.
So many.
I steal from everyone. I steal from you.
I stole from you.
Yeah, that's what we do. We steal from each other, and it's not bad. But no, we're in. Yeah, of course. Every
I look
actor,
up
every
to so many people. I can't even.
and even the bigger movies, they
Yeah.
look up to people.
Yeah.
You know, we all do.
I'm
It's just
always,
admiration of people's work.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, love to hear it.
For me, it's like, you know, I'm big fans of, you know, Sam Rockwell. You know, and I worked with him, and then I got to work with him, and he fulfilled every desire I wanted him to be. He was just so cool, you know. So he was always an inspiration. Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, he's the
You
god.
kinda look like him.
He's the king of acting. He's the god of
Yeah.
acting.
He's also just such a cool person. Like, he lives on a farm.
In like,
Like,
Europe
he
somewhere, right?
doesn't, you know, he's not into the whole Hollywood thing.
no, you
which
look at his
I really
IMDb.
like
He's
that
made
vibe.
10 movies in 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, Christian Bale. You know, any actor that's like a character type, committed actor, those are the ones I gravitate to. How about you?
I don't know. Like, I've always loved the Kates. Like, you know, for big actors, like Kate
Blanchett?
Winslet, Kate Blanchett. I can't remember her name right now, but really got into Peaky Blinders, and the woman who plays Aunt Polly, can't remember her name, but she was also Draco Malfoy's mom in Harry Potter. She passed away last year from cancer, but she is a phenomenal actress. Like in Peaky Blinders, there's some scenes are so captivating. I don't know, I feel like we've talked about this before. Like, you know, some people see films and really like pick it apart, like some actors. I find I watch stuff and I'm always like impressed. Because I just think, like, to be doing it is it, and I don't know, I like to support and find the things that are good about it, rather than like, oh, you know, it wasn't this or that.
Yeah,
But we've talked about that before. Like,
yeah, we have the same kind of, I think, philosophy. You can't run down another person's work if they're doing it and you're not.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
especially actors. Like, you know, people who are not in this business, judge all you want. But people who actually do this, you know, as their job, to run down other people who do it, I don't understand that. But I still watch a movie or a TV show and I still fall into the fantasy of it.
totally. And it depends, like, there's so many types of acting. Like, if you're doing a Hallmark movie, that's different than doing, like, a Marvel, or, you know, there's different styles. So I find whatever I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I see what they did there, yeah. You know, and I kind of clock it for myself. Oh, well, next time I'm auditioning for Hallmark. Or, like, you know.
You can learn from
You can
anyone.
learn from everything
Anyone.
if you choose to. So,
Yeah. And it just isn't positive to run people down. What's the point?
exactly. Bad karma.
Bad karma. We're all about karma.
And aliens.
We send texts to each other about science and
I told him this story once.
Here
It's
we
not
go.
a story. It's not a story. It's fact. Okay?
the giant bug story.
The giant bugs.
Oh, here we go.
Okay? So at one point on Earth, carbon dioxide, there was so much carbon dioxide that only bugs could exist, and they grew to be like enormous. Could you imagine just giant spiders and bugs crawling around?
There's no factual proof of this at
No,
all.
it's true.
But Natalie thinks it's true.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay? Tweet him. Tweet at him.
Raise your hand if you're a flat earther in this room. We have to talk if you are. I need 10 minutes with you. I'll set you straight. I know there's somebody out there.
Now, going back to the show for a little bit, were there any scenes that you were involved in yourself, that just still stick out with you? You just thought, that was one of my best scenes, or my other performers were one of the better scenes?
Oh, gosh, yeah. In this show?
Yeah.
Yes. With this girl, I had many. I don't know. You could put me and Natalie in any scene together. It was Tim. Tim was like, you guys got chemistry. There's a chemistry between you guys. So you could put me in any scene with her or Dominique too. You know, scenes that stick out for me were like the treehouse scenes. I always laugh at the treehouse scenes.
Oh
The
yeah,
scenes
I
in the
laugh at
treehouse.
them too.
The scenes with Dominique in the treehouse are some of my oh, you know, the scenes in the mental asylum, in the padded room. I love those scenes. Anything in the straitjacket, I loved. 'Cause that was fun. You must
Like
be with
that
me.
Oh yeah,
All
definitely.
your scenes were with me, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I loved all the scenes with you. I mean, we didn't have that many scenes together, but I was excited to work with you, for sure. I remember, I mentioned this at the last con when Michael, the one where you poison everyone with the champagne, and you came in rehearsal and you like flipped the champagne bottle and caught it in his, he flipped it. And I was like, whoa, that's risky.
Like that?
Yeah, well, it was more dynamic than that, but it's okay, you still got it.
I was nervous about that scene.
Didn't seem nervous.
Because
You
on
seemed
Winona
really
Earp 2, you have
confident.
to remember, we don't get rehearsal time. You know, we shoot quick. And so you show up on set, and they're like, okay, so you're going to walk from here to here. Let's shoot it.
Let's
I'm like,
go.
Okay. But I knew, like, I had to come up to you and do that.
I think you sniffed me.
I always worked in sniffing you, because you always smelled so good.
Oh, thank you.
The antidote line. There's an antidote.
Right, yeah.
That was the first sign of you and me
Yeah.
having a thing. 'Cause I
Yeah.
walked right up to you and said
Yeah, and I was
antidote,
like,
and I went,
Yeah, that's what I did.
that is what you did. I remember.
Yeah.
Now, Michael, you've talked before about how on Earp you had more freedom to make some choices in the scenes and so forth than many other shows you've been on, where there are a lot more, you have to do it exactly this way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Every show is different, as you probably know. You guys know all this stuff. But some shows are very strict, line for line. You don't add a word into the script. You can add an and, a but, I mean, They want word for word, how it's written. On Earp, complete freedom. They gave me complete, which I call taking the collar off and letting me fly. And so Emily always encouraged that, or whoever was directing. But it's not just them, it was the actors. Like working with Tim was very different than working with Dominique, and working with Dominique's very different than working with Melanie or with Nat. Everybody works so differently, but we all went there to create something good and to play and make something interesting. But Emily totally gave me free will to there were times I didn't even think I was doing the right thing. I was making choices that weren't even right, but you had to trust her and whoever was directing that they would rein you in if it was too much, and they would tell you to turn it up when it was not enough. But yeah, that's very rare when you have a show that's like, do it. You create your own character, you know. And I don't think I've had that since on a TV show since then. And maybe it won't again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss playing Bobo. I'll tell you that. I miss it.
Oh.
I miss it. I miss playing Bobo.
You could do YouTube videos
That's
at
true.
home.
When I get sued if I did
Or
that.
TikToks.
Will you come and do one with me?
Sure.
We'll do the alternate universe. What happened? If
Or
you
just
go.
cooking.
Yeah.
We'll flip houses together. That'll be our thing.
Get that Revenant out of the bedroom.
I think I speak for everyone. Yes, please.
That'd be fun.
Would be fun. It would be very
We
entertaining.
can have guest stars on. We'll have Kat and Dominique come on.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Maybe we're on to something.
Maybe.
Well, I just want to, as we wrap things up, give a big thank you to our interpreter and all of the
Thank you.
con. Be sure to thank all of the con volunteers and organizers and such for helping to make this such an amazing event, folks. So, and a big thank you to Natalie and Michael.
And thank you to you guys.
We're
Thank
done.
you. We're done. I guess we'll go.